They might be self-aware.
Gary here, professional voice actor, calling from the payphone outside of... Hold on. I'm using it, sir! Sorry, gas station. Apparently lawyering laws apply to people, but not to the guy selling cologne samples from his trunk. Okay. Today the guys explain why Apple, a company with infinite money, is still 3 to 4 years behind Google in AI. Siri can only set timers. That's it. That's her whole thing. Meanwhile, Google wants to launch data centers into space. An Apple solution is to just hire the Google people who made them look bad. You know, I asked Siri for directions to a place that's hiring, and she set a timer for 10 minutes. We both just stood there, waiting. Anyway, the guys are at least getting paid to watch Apple fail. I'm watching for free and somehow still losing money.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Ripping into the neon carcass of the AI revolution, baby! It's They Might Be Self-Aware. I'm Hunter Powers, joined by the Neon Man himself.
Daniel Bishop. I'm ripping into the carcass. Is it with my hands or my teeth? How?
Teeth sounds more visceral. If we're going to, really amp things up.
I'm getting in there. I'm getting dirty.
I frequently, when I get text back from a large language model, when I'm trying to write something, I write back, "This is boring. This is boring. I want you to ruthlessly critique this text and find no less than 100 improvements that are needed in order to turn it into a masterpiece. And it's okay if you need more. Then apply the Pareto principle to select the top 20% and apply those to finally render something worth reading."
This doesn't sound like you, Hunter. Something's changed. Aren't you supposed to have it, blowing smoke up your ear thing? And this is perfect as is.
I'm not in the best mood, Daniel.
You're embracing the change necessary.
As you noticed in the beginning of the show, during our pre-roll, maybe coming to the Patreon members only, me wiping the sweat from my brow because it is, and I measured this very scientifically, it is 1 million degrees Celsius in my office right now as I am trying to record.
Well, it's probably because of all the computing devices that you have.
There's a few.
You've got a few computers and lights and so on.
Yeah.
You know what would make that better? What would really offload your problem to somewhere else?
I do need a solution.
If you took all of your compute and you put it into space.
Yes.
Yeah,
great
like
idea.
You said a
you've
couple
come
episodes
around.
ago or so.
Daniel, you've come around.
I've not come around, but I have read a couple things that weren't just from Hunter's Dome. It sounds like Google is ripping off your idea, and they want to put a bunch of data centers up in space.
It's the next great thing.
This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I cannot fathom why they want to do this. It's not around to your idea. It's that the premise being absurd and not being a real premise, unfortunately.
Unlimited solar energy. Are you considering the unlimited solar energy?
You get solar just fine here on Earth, Hunter, and you don't have to worry about radiation screwing up your graphics cards up in space, and you don't have to worry about the insane economics of launching that much data up there. Do you know how much power one of those enterprise level GPUs costs? The entire ISS that we currently have, which took years and years and gazillion launches to get up there with its ton of solar panels that has, could run 70 cards.
All right, well, we just fly a little higher, a little closer to the sun. So we
just need many tens of thousands of International Space Station-sized objects out in space for just the power aspect. And because you can't radiate heat away with air, because they don't got that in space, you're going to need each of them to be some amount of exponentially larger. I think what happened is someone over in Google said, I really like the idea of a Dyson sphere. What if we made a Dyson sphere? And here we are. For For those who don't know what a Dyson sphere is, Hunter, would you be so kind?
Dyson sphere is when you capture the energy of a star. Is that correct? You almost
right,
like
and you build like an entire sphere around
the star,
a star to capture all of its
potentially the sun, because we don't need the sun for anything else.
I don't know if I'd strongly agree with that.
I mean,
I feel like we need it for I'll say plants.
There's grow lights now, Daniel. Have you seen them?
Oh, that's right. And if we're capturing all of the light from the sun, we could make artificial light less efficiently, heating up our recording studios to grow a few more plants. You solved.
Are we back on the pro side of AI in space?
I know for the joke of it, you seem to be very in favor, but please join me in whatever middle ground that we can find here. Hunter, am I insane for thinking that like the both economics and the physics of this thing seem truly bonkers?
Well, I think you have a point, Daniel. I'm not dismissing you fully, but sometimes you just have to dream. You got to really just put it out there, and that's how you start coming, to the revelations and the breakthroughs that are going to be needed. I was reading about the Nobel Prize. The guy's like teleporting through walls or something. The person who won the Nobel Prize in physics.
The person who won the Nobel Prize in physics is teleporting through walls.
Yes.
The person is.
Well, a particle teleported through the walls. And apparently it wasn't, it just it needed to go somewhere. So it was ignoring the physical properties. I didn't read the whole, I may have read a tweet about it, in fairness.
We're looking at 140 characters condensed of 3 levels removed from
my takeaway though was, okay,
Star
great.
Trek.
We can now teleport through walls.
Star Trek teleporters, they're here, and they're going to put us and our data centers in space.
And I feel like if we can do that, then we can run a 5090 up in space.
You have a point, but not the one that you think. As far as I can go with that. All right, so let's suppose that we do put our GPUs all up into space, and we have a lot of new shade. Maybe we kind of solve the global warming issue at that point too, right? You blot out enough of the sun with a bunch of data centers that aren't heating up the Earth themselves. They're up there. Great. We did it. I think you and I here right now, we just solved the climate change crisis. Amazing.
I did hear that the hole in the ozone layer is now the smallest it's been in recorded history.
Yeah.
That was another tweet, by the way, after, we're walking through walls now. All right, awesome. That's great. And solves climate change. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much anymore. Everything is positive in the news right now for the first time ever.
That's right. One of the things that I find very positive is that HP, Hewlett Packard, is expecting to have a lot.
I thought you were talking about me, HP.
No. I get it. Hewlett Packard, the giganto company, is projecting
I thought they worked out of a garage or something. Wasn't that their thing?
What?
Oh, Hewlett Packard was started in a garage.
Oh, okay.
As many.
I thought you meant still. I'm like, what do you mean?
No, sorry.
I'm sure they have garages.
Yeah. But anyways,
so they're projecting lower profit per share for 2026, which is great. Great news for me and for you because HP is the worst company. I'm taking my soapbox here. We've got a bunch of listeners. I'm going to take one of my personal gripes and you all get to hear it now. HP is the worst company when it comes to consumer products. Now, I did say consumer. I understand that they have a enterprise arm and supposedly their stuff's really good. I've had HP printers and HP laptops, and they are the absolute worst. They're the smart car of consumer electronics. And yes, I'm absolutely taking smart car and throwing it in its crumply little form under the bus here too. They're awful, and now they're going to blame AI for cutting 5,000 jobs just because they're doing a bad job at what they do.
Well, they're simultaneously ramping up their AI efforts to offset these 6,000 highly skilled. Although, according to you, they just turn out absolute garbage.
They do.
I'm a huge fan of anything HP. Hey, 6,000 people, I'm on your side. Daniel, on the other hand, is cheering your
they know what
downfall
they've
on.
done. They know what they did to me.
I will say that
sent from Satan.
anytime the like first day of the new job, they break out that HP laptop for you. You're like,
It's going to be a rough one. They didn't even bother to get you a Dell. You're in trouble.
I once quit a job on the first day because of the computer. Literally. Now, I didn't end up
to
quitting.
hell with the rest of our podcast, I need you to tell me this story right now.
During the interview, so after the HP event.
When is this? Let's establish.
You want
the
a
timeline.
year? 2012. I'd have to go look at my LinkedIn. 2012.
Okay.
I was.
All right. So mid 2010s. The 2010s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson from getting a piece of garbage computer that I'm going to have to work on and do my magic, Daniel. And I really do mean magic. The art that comes out when my hands touch a keyboard.
Don't blame the artist, blame the tools. That's right.
During the interview process, I was very clear about my computing requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I even wrote them down.
You put it in bullet point, a good computer, not HP.
No. I was the top of the line MacBook at the time that I wanted. I was like, this is going to be part of my hiring. This is the computer that I expect to work on. Yeah, that's not. Their answer was like a nonchalant. Yeah, everyone gets to choose their computer. That's not a problem. You can have whatever you want. Oh, okay. Sure. Hired day one. First, they bring out the Windows computer, which is I don't remember if it was an HP, but it was a piece of garbage too. And I was like, no. Remember? Well, this person, of course, wasn't involved in the interview process. Like, I don't know, the IT person. They're like, okay, we do have an Apple back there. So like they went into the back and found like the MacBook that they bought 5 years ago at this point. Right. And it was the probably just above the lowest entry tier then. And they gave me that. And I'm like, absolutely not. I need to get this computer. Someone's got to give me a credit card. I'm going to go to the Apple store and buy. The Apple store is literally across the street.
Right.
They're like, no, we're not doing that. So go to the boss. Like, hey, remember during the interview process, we said this. And she's like, yeah, I remember that. But we just don't have the budget right now. But it's something we can work on. We can work towards. I was like, no.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We can work towards that.
It's a deal breaker for me. I was like, look, here's what I'm going to do. By the way, I want to be solution oriented. I said, I'm going to take my credit card. I'm going to go across the street, buy the laptop that I need, come back, we'll set it up. And they're like, no, because, all the corporate stuff and IT stuff that you're not allowed to bring your own machines in. And I was like, well, you can buy it back for me at some point. Figure it out down the road. We move forward now. No. I was like, all right, then I can't work here. And I got called into the VP's office and he's like, would you just spend a minute talking to me? I want to understand what happened here. Yeah. And he's like, just so you know, we're going to get you the computer. And it was a very short, he's like, I'm sorry, we're going to get the computer. And they got the computer, but yeah, I don't know if that story was really worth it, but.
So you didn't successfly quit.
Correct.
Okay.
I said I was going to. I was going through.
You were attempting to leave the building. They're wait.
Yeah, all over a computer. But and now it's
if it wasn't HP, I can absolutely understand why you would be willing to quit over that, because they are terrible. And the sort of through line, to bring it vaguely back toward our
why are we even talking about this?
The reason why we're talking about this is because HP, we're going to cut 4,000 to 6,000 jobs by 2028 as we integrate artificial intelligence into everything. And one of the sides of that, customer support, I absolutely get. Depending on how many people they have in customer support, super get it. A lot of tier 1, tier 2 customer support, technical help is absolutely going away in the years to come. Which means those at that tier 3 and above sort of level don't have the pipeline of having gone through the trenches at that tier 1 and tier 2. And that is future years' problem. But some number of these jobs I absolutely could see as going away, because I'm fully of the mind that we are already at the point, let alone in a couple of years, where lower level technical support, I forgot my password, I need help finding this thing, my power's off, but my computer won't turn on, what do? You wait for the power to come back on. That kind of stuff, I think, is extremely reasonable for a certain number of those jobs to come away. They say product development and operations. Boy, I don't think you should be messing with your ops folks, personally. They are the ones who keep the lights on at a company. They should be utilizing these tools, but anyone who pulls back on their quote unquote IT budget like that, it doesn't ever seem to work out. But this is all AI. It's because AI that we can shed 6,000 jobs in a couple of years. I don't buy it. If they're saying, hey, our profits and stuff are down, I think it's that they want to constrict, lay off a bunch of people, bring the profits back up, and they can claim whatever they want under it. But it's just that business calculus that everyone else is doing these days. If we're not in a depression or a recession or whatever, certainly it is not big smiles on everyone's faces. So all the companies tighten the belt a little bit and they find something to blame. There's a great boogeyman right now.
MIT put out a study last week, and the conclusion of the study is that AI is already, today, at this exact second, ready to replace approximately 11.7% of the workforce. So imagine 100 of your closest friends, 0.7 of them. Now just remove the 11.7. The 0.3 can remain.
Do I round up or down? I don't know.
No. This is the cut the person, well, 70%ish.
Cut him into 10 pieces because you know how that divides. Yeah.
But what I found most interesting were the roles that they called out, which is finance, HR, and logistics being the primary places where they see that AI can be deployed today to replace the workforce.
We talked, the finance, finance what and logistics?
HR.
Yeah, right, them. I find it very funny that someone says we can take human resources and replace it with AI. That's extremely funny to me. I also think that HR does a lot more than just come wag your finger at you. They have real jobs.
Do they, Daniel?
They do. It's a punching bag.
Are you sure about that?
I've found great value in my human resources counterparts anywhere that I've worked under. Some of them might be listening, and boy, I want to keep them.
You don't want to get that calendar invite, that 5 p.m. calendar invite showing up later today if they're listening.
10 minutes in advance. There's 2 people that you don't usually speak to on it. Hey, could you pop onto this call real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Just a quick chat.
Mm-hmm. Just a little one-on-one convo, 2-on-1 maybe. So I think that's very funny. On the logistics side, you and I used to work for a company that was about logistics at kind of a global sort of scale. In your opinion, is logistics solved? Because, boy, I don't think so.
Well, I don't think they're saying all of logistics. They're just saying that where does the 11.7% primarily come from? It's within these jobs. Not that logistics is done and HR is done.
Sure.
But that there's
an outside. It's not 11% broadly across everything. It's an outsized impact on these.
There's industries. The most low hanging fruit in HR, finance, and logistics for AI. Now, hopefully, we're not talking. Well, we're limiting the use of generative AI in our finances.
Hopefully,
but things like I guess classifying, and because there's a lot of accounting where you need to figure out what category does this go in, what category does that go in.
Right. So I think this is a conflation of terms where when people see AI these days, they think generative AI, they think large language models. I worked for you at a company that had to do with logistics, at least as sort of a awareness middle, whatever place that it occupied. I made machine learning, dare I say, artificial intelligence models that classified news articles to help determine what's going on in people's supply chains. That's AI. And so I guess the models that I made would absolutely have replaced multiple humans that had to just read the news constantly to try and find the most relevant articles, or at least have a bunch of RSS feeds that they're scanning every day. So yeah, I could see that being a portion of what's being taken over. But the article was presented in a way, and I think, this is journalism, just sort of in general these days, but it's presented as if logistics is going away. When you think logistics, you think of the guy who's sitting at the trucking depot who's managing like emails and helping like figure out people's schedules, and this truck needs to go off to Schenectady and this one has to go to Albuquerque and so on. We were talking about the benchmark for running a vending machine and how computers get a lot better at that.
But it is
I
a good
don't
note
think that we could like replace any part of this entire process. I think that these tools are making people more valuable assets, more able to do what they do faster and more of it. But I don't think that we're replacing people yet. These are tools that we've made, not replacements for people.
I think the vending machine angle is really interesting, but just again, we're currently, an AI cannot successfully run a vending machine, yet it's going to replace all of, global logistics.
Yeah, exactly.
But it can't run the Coke machine.
That's why I think that like from an article about 11.1% of, and it was an MIT study, and I'm sure in the actual study, which I did not read, admittedly, they go into a smidge more. Yes, it was very long. I looked at portions of it. It was way too long for me to read. I'm sure they go into like more subtlety. However, there are so many articles, and we cover lots of this company is going to get rid of a bunch of people because of AI, and that's bubbling up to the HP, one of the worst companies, going to get rid of a bunch of people, something AI. I think that the way that all of this is being presented to people in very broad strokes is, if you look at that 100 people in a room, 11 of them are replaced with a robot that then sits at the desk and like has replaced Joe Smith, who sat down the cubicle wall from you. It's not that. It's that there are going to be less hires or some fires because the same number of people are getting the productivity boost that has been promised by AI. And if that then continues and continues and continues, because the promise of this is even greater productivity with even less people, the goal seems to be, I guess, just the people who run the LLMs now collect all the money because the entirety of all the businesses got automated.
It's the inevitable outcome.
I don't buy it.
I wonder.
don't buy it. You know why?
Why do you not buy it?
Well, have you ever used Squarespace?
I have.
This episode brought to you... No, it's not brought to you by Squarespace. But like, for many of you who are listening, you've at least seen or heard of, if not used, Squarespace. Or Wix, or way back in the day, like a GeoCities or something like that. The promise of you don't have to be a web programmer, you can have your own website, has existed for quite some time. And as these tools come out, all the marketing materials say, and goodbye to that entire sector of the industry, because you can just do it yourself. Give us $20 a month and you don't need programmers anymore. You don't need this, you don't need that, or no code, low code solutions for X, Y, or Z. Amazon will have, you don't need to hire a machine learning engineer. We have SageMaker and it'll do everything for you. And it's awful to work with and way more expensive. And there are a lot of technology related industries and sub-industries where they say our solution means you don't have to have these people anymore. It'll just be one manager sitting alone in a huge office, having obviated everyone else away, typing. It's going to be George Jetson from the Jetsons, where he goes in the office and presses the one button with the AI up on the wall, and that was his job for the whole day. That's what's being promised, and I don't think that's going to happen. People get more efficient. There will be less hires and so on. Companies maybe contract a little bit in terms of headcount, or a lot, but I don't think it's ever going to be George Jetson. I really don't.
There's one person related to AI getting the boot that I think I agree with, and that would be John Giannandrea, who was, I guess previously was, or he's transitioning out right now, Apple's longtime AI chief.
You think he's going to not put that on his resume?
He's been in there a long time.
It's on LinkedIn and just like, hey, what have you been doing the last X number of years? Oh, nothing. Try not to look me up.
I can't understand it. Like, I can't come to the, like, what is going on at Apple? I would, like, it feels like they must be intentionally trying to just delay embracing the AI assistant when it is also a category that at a minimum, they heavily participated in pioneering, but their technology is so far, I don't know, expired, long in the tooth. Back, it's, I don't know, 3-4 years behind Android. Android had
in fairness, a lot of Apple features are a few years behind Android, and then they tout it as if it's some brand new thing that they've come
This
out
is
with.
different, though. This is
no,
different.
I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
Apple is not the first to innovate. They tend to be the ones who really polish it. And if you look at what they've been saying, I'm reading really far between the lines, but they talk a lot about trusted and personal. And so I think as soon as someone saw the word hallucinations associated with large language models, they down really hard and said, no, we're not releasing Siri if it could possibly do wrong thing.
Yeah, but they've released many AI features and they're just really bad. I don't think there's one that's good. That's like, anywhere near. And so both they're not good and they're not anywhere near the cutting edge. So it's like there are wildly better solutions out there.
Nor good. Whereas at least at least Google, who I think was fairly late to the game in the large language model space, has really caught up. Like Google Gemini 3 is very good. Probably next episode I want to talk a whole bunch about Nano Banana Pro, which I finally started using like more than once or twice. It's very cool. Spoiler alert. But yeah, right. So Apple's models aren't good. They actually very recently just released a model to exactly zero fanfare. The open source community kind of looked at it and go,
the video generation one? Or
the video generation one. It is not state of the art, I think is the very kindest way to put it.
It's just, it's unimaginable. And it's been years even since it was announced that, okay, we're just going to license Google's model or Anthropic's model, and we will use that behind the scenes until we have our own. Still, total failure. We've got nothing. I only trust Siri to do timers. I really don't use it for anything else. Sometimes I will use it to call someone, but I don't have confidence it's going to call the correct person.
It is boggling.
A timer, it's pretty good. Honestly, it's a pretty good solution for a timer. You talked about polishing, and I really do feel like they really polished that timer, Daniel.
The user experience is immaculate on
it really
set
is.
A timer for 5 minutes.
And multiple timers. I mean, it's not a simple problem to solve. But there's this other area, which is everything else, and it is horrible at. I mean, I'm sitting in my Tesla having these incredibly in-depth conversations, planning my life out, and my phone from the greatest company in the world can barely set a timer. And they have infinite money. And that's why it's because they have infinite money that it seems to me they must just have some hypothesis that we're just not going to do this. And that's going to work out.
That they're using Google and Anthropic's models and so on, even riding on the coattails of the people who are doing a good job at AI, they still make bad AI products.
Yeah.
How?
And it's always, and then next year we're gonna launch something that's actually good. They've been saying the next year line for a while. But something
they must have Elon Musk in charge of their timelines.
Something is wrong.
Something does seem really, really off.
I guess Tim Cook, in theory, is stepping down over the next year or two. So maybe they actually are failing. The organization has some run
skipping off into the sunset, saying, "We did it. We ruined AI at our company."
Johnny Ive's gone to OpenAI. Yeah, I guess in thinking about that, okay, their head of AI gone. Their CEO
They're bringing in a guy
gone.
from Microsoft and Google, from both of them.
Be like, hey, we bought your product.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're buying
Show
your
us
guy.
how to use it.
Please.
We need to be self-aware for just like 10 seconds.
Now, if people wanted to be self-aware, Hunter.
Oh, I've got a good hack for this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not to set a timer on your iPhone.
Set
or use
timer.
any of its...
Yeah, when you got
to
you got to do the robotic voice. Set timer for 10 minutes. Now.
Okay, I know we were just about to get into the end of the episode. I have to... The company that I work for, we're working on like an AI voice like scheduler for automotive dealerships. It's very cool. I'm very excited about this kind of space and the fact that phone AI type
Is
things
HR
are
in the
going to
room
be
with us right
terrible.
now, Daniel?
HR's not in the room.
Are they going to pop their head over? We need to have a little conversation.
Utterly unrelated to my company, a different company. I had to call, let's say it was a bank. It wasn't a bank.
Yeah.
But pretend that it's you call whoever the hell, and they're like, we can give you a call back. Is your number? And it's like 3 seconds of pause, way too long of a pause. And then you get that super robotic beep, 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 number,
9, 1, 0.
number. And my jaw almost hit the floor. I'm like, how have we not finished getting rid of that already? I know we aren't in the AI future. I know we aren't all yet self-aware, but
they're clearly not listening to this podcast. That's my conclusion, Daniel. In fact, I think that's the problem with Apple.
That's probably it.
They're not listening to this podcast. If they would just listen and
John, last name we butchered. Why don't you listen to our podcast?
And if you're going to listen, you might as well subscribe, because we're on
true.
twice a week now. And when you subscribe, it just magically appears.
It's
No
better
cost
than
to you.
setting a timer on your Siri. On your Siri. I sound like my parents.
It's much more likely to actually work than your Siri command hitting that subscribe button. Far more reliable.
It's true. It is reliable. It works.
More reliable than
hold
Siri.
on.
That's our new
Apple,
tagline.
It just works. Huh?
All right. Well,
Point
you can find
is,
us
don't use an HP printer or laptop. And
when you have HP right on this podcast. That's what I'm saying, Daniel. And you can find this podcast
The real HP right here.
everywhere podcasts are available. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast directory. And we will be back in just a few days with another episode of...
They might be self-aware.